All right, what's up, guys? My name is Pierce, and today I'm going to be coming out with Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, Week 3 predictions and betting tips. And if y'all can't tell in the background, we got my boy Takashi Sato taking a nap yesterday. Shout out to Brian Battle, putting it on for the Queen City of Charlotte. Met the guy a couple times, very humble individual. I'm very happy for him. It's nice to see all his hard work pay off in the octagon, but we do have fights this Tuesday, and it's not the best fights to be betting on straight up, but at the same time, who doesn't like having degenerate action on a Tuesday night? All right, but we'll start with the first fight of the night. We got Sandra Lovato versus Carolina. Damn, don't know what that was. Carolina Woschek. All right, we'll start with Sandra. So, I mean, this fight was fucking hell to fucking watch for tape. I mean, both these girls, low-level women's MMA. You got Sandra Lovato coming in at 10-2. Pretty shit level of opposition, if I'm going to be straight up with you. I think her last fight was against a girl that was 0-1, taking her to fucking decision. I mean, I know it's women's MMA. You don't really see finishes that much, but the girl that was 0-1, Sherlyn Sanchez, was having moments in the fight, and it's just like there's not really much to like from the Sandra Lovato side. I mean, she's a long striker, I guess, maybe shades of Maria Oliveira. I guess she's got a nice jab. I'll give her that. Likes to throw a jab out there, 1-2s on the feet. But what I've noticed with her is she's struggles in the grappling against. I think her last loss to Carla Sanchez. She just got a grapple fucked. Couldn't really get up off her back. Don't really know how that was a split. I thought that was pretty clear. Carla won, but regardless, yeah, gets pushed up against the cage a little too much for my liking. I will say she's long, she's there in a range. I mean, she throws a nice jab, I guess, if you want to call it nice. But yeah, I guess the path to victory for her in this fight is to just keep it on the feet, keep it at her range. I don't think she has a reach listed on Tapology, but I would like to see the face-offs. Because Carolina Woschek, the Polish fighter, she has, I believe, a 62-inch reach. Yeah, 62-inch reach, so she's got very short arms for the weight class, but we'll see how the reach plays a factor here. Don't want another Gloria De Paula versus Maria Oliveira type fucking performance. God. All right. Well, we got Carolina Woschek. Now, I guess the best trait to her game is her scrappiness. She's a very scrappy fighter. Loves to push her opponents up against the clinch and kind of just work them. Will occasionally mix in some takedowns too. Decent on top. I mean, nothing special. But yeah, she does a good job of just staying in the fight, just keeping it competitive with all her opponents. Her last loss, Ewelina Wozniak, she's actually 7-1 right now. You'll see her on the Contender Series later this year, and then her other loss to Cheyenne Bays. Not a bad loss at all. I mean, Cheyenne Bays is in the UFC. She's doing pretty fucking good right now, so you can't hate on those two losses for Wozniak. But when it comes to the odds in this fight, we'll check them out. Woschik is coming in at minus 240. We have Sandra Lovato plus 205. I mean, I can't really disagree with the odds there, but it's like it's women's MMA, so I wouldn't go fucking crazy on this line. I mean, Woschik, the path to victory. I feel like push her up against the cage, try to mix in that grappling. You don't really want to play at range with Sandra, even though she's not the best striker. She's long. To make it kind of like a split decision type fight if Carolina decides to play around on the feet. But even if she like grapples, I don't expect her to like fucking dominate in a sense. But I do think she can win a competitive decision. We'll go Carolina Woschek by 29-28 unanimous decision. And when it comes to parlays, I mean, I guess you could parlay her. I wouldn't go crazy with it. Obviously, like I said, women's MMA. But I'll talk more about who I would potentially parlay her with later in the card. But we'll go to the next fight. Definitely a much more entertaining fight. We have Clayton Carpenter versus Edgar Chairez. So we'll start with Clayton Carpenter. I think he's probably one of the top prospects on the card, maybe of the season, honestly. Clayton Carpenter is a very talented fighter, very well rounded. He's a grappler first, but as you can tell from the tape, he has been working on his striking a lot. The only knock to him, I guess you would say, is the level of competition. His last fight, opponent 5-2, got the quick first round knockout. Before that, 3-1. And then the one fight that did go to decision was an 0-0 Medina. It's nice to see Clayton Carpenter go 15 minutes. He's able to keep up a solid pace. He's able to get his grappling going in that fight, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to take away how good his cardio is because Medina really didn't have much to offer in that fight. But yeah, as you can see, he's got a knee bar finish. He's pretty slick on the ground. I will say that's probably how he should approach this fight is to grapple. But his striking's pretty solid too. Throws good combinations on the feet. You can tell he's got a lot of power in his hands. One thing I will say is that Clayton Carpenter can kind of have his hands down at moments, which is something you can't really get away with at the higher level. But in regards to his opponent, Edgar Chairez, this dude, very entertaining prospect, I will say. He kind of looks like Alex Pereira a little bit. I guess you could say he kind of fights like him too, in a sense where he has kind of like the death touch. And if you guys see this fight right here, Chairez versus Enrique Diarte, I would give that fight a watch. One of the craziest flying knee knockouts I've seen in a while. Very dynamic striker. And as you can see, he has a couple submissions on his record too. So it's like his BJJ is not the worst, but it's like he'll throw up like triangles on his back. You know, he can get some arm bars, but he's not no high level black belt. That is something that's a little bit of a problem in his game. His takedown defense is very questionable. I've seen him taken down in numerous fights, like the Alberto Trujillo fight. Alberto was just able to like grind him out for a decision. And then in the Aguilar fight, it actually went 5 rounds. Very close fight. I feel like Chairez was on his way to winning a decision, and then he just got caught in a guillotine in the 5th round, so he kind of dropped the ball there. But in regards to this matchup, I feel like it's a very binary fight here. You got Clayton Carpenter, who probably should take it to the ground. On the feet, he'll be competitive, but if he wants the path to least resistance, he should take Chairez down and be able to maybe ride him out, possibly get the submission here. But one thing I will say is Chairez, he does a decent job fighting up. Sometimes he'll attack like a guillotine to get up to his feet. But I will say, for Chairez to win here, he should look to bring out the brawl. I feel like if he maybe brawls Clayton Carpenter, he'll be able to catch him. Maybe he is actually a pretty big flyweight. I believe his last fight against Ivan Hernandez Flores was at like a catch weight of 130 or something along the lines of that. But yeah, he's 5'7", 125 pounds. That's going to be a rough weight cut. I would keep an eye on the weigh-ins tomorrow, see how Chairez looks. But in regards to the betting tips, we see the odds. Yeah, you got Clayton Carpenter minus 300, Edgar Chairez plus 250. And then I forgot to mention the gyms. We got Edgar training out of Interim Gym, Moreno's old gym, but I think he's probably training partners with our boy Andres Luna. But also we got Clayton Carpenter training out of MMA Lab with Benson Henderson and company in Arizona. So, both dudes coming out of decent gyms. So, they'll be very prepared for the fight, both 26, very young prospects. But yeah, looking at the odds, minus 300, Clayton Carpenter. I mean, I don't disagree with the line, but it's like he hasn't really fought like high level opposition. I mean, neither has Chairez. I mean, he's fought decent opponents, but nothing crazy. But it's like for minus 300, I want to be able to see tape of him going a hard 15 minutes against someone that's of adequate competition. And there's a lot I feel like there's some question marks on Carpenter's cardio, but he does pass the eye test. I will say, very talented fighter. He should get the job done. But I would be concerned with Chairez's dynamic striking. He could always catch a knockout. I think he has a lot of power in his hands. So when Bet Online comes out with the props, I would keep an eye on Chairez by KO. If you can get a good number, like plus 600, maybe something along the lines of that, maybe look to take a little sprinkle on that. And then a prop for the Carpenter side, maybe look at the submission prop. I'm curious what that line's going to be. But yeah, it's you got to go probably Carpenter here. I understand parlaying him. Me personally, probably going to pass on the money line. Maybe look to bet Chairez by KO. But then the next fight, another great fight too. We got Andrar. How do you say this name? Anvar Boynazarov versus Eric the King Silva. And if you watch, we'll start with Eric Silva, and I guess you could call him Mr. Mandaleon, because I think that's in Spanish it means rear naked choke. But yeah, that's like his fucking move. As you can see, past 4 fights, 4 straight rear naked chokes. But don't be fooled. He's not a grapple. I mean, he does like to grapple, but he will 100% strike with his opponents. He's got a decent striking game, I guess you could say. Very karate-ish stance. Likes to kind of keep his hands down. He's there to be hit. He kind of reminds me a little bit of well, not style wise, but how cocky he is to Bobby Green. Thinks he's untouchable, I guess you could say that. But in regards to Eric Silva, as you can tell, he's a rear naked choke expert, I guess you would say. But yeah, he loves to fucking hop on your back and sync up that Mandaleon. Very good at that, I will say. So, Anvar better be prepared. I hope he's drilling his rear naked choke defense. But in regards to Eric Silva, him getting it to the ground, I mean, his wrestling solid. I mean, it's nothing crazy. He's got a decent single leg that he'll go for. See him get double leg takedowns like up against the cage, but it's not like high level wrestling. And then when he gets it to the ground, I mean, he's content with playing in your guard, kind of just like he's got good ground and pound, I guess. I believe, if I recall, it was this fight, Edgar Garcia Cabello. He hit him with some nasty elbows, and the dude was bleeding all over the place. And it was weird. He started bleeding, and then the ref stopped the fight for like a minute or so, and the doctors kept working on him. And then Eric was just fucking waiting the fight, and then he just fucking cut him again, and then he was able to finish him. So I don't know why they stopped it in the middle of the fight to check on that. But yeah, I mean, he's a good fighter, very solid. But one knock on him is he is getting up there in age. I don't think it says it here, but he's like 34, 35. So, it's either now or never for my boy Eric Silva. But I mean, they are matching him up against a very interesting opponent here in Anvar Boy Nazarov. He's actually a former Glory kickboxing title challenger, and I believe he was a two-time world champion Muay Thai fighter. And with Anvar, I mean, the background, it's pretty clear what he wants to do. He's wants to keep it on the feet. He's a very dynamic striker, very good leg kicks, likes to throw in the pocket, great knees in the clinch. Has a lot of power, as you can tell by the record. Fucking 3 straight wins, 3 straight first round knockouts. The John Pham fight, definitely give that a watch. That was a crazy knockout. Floored him with a knee, had him out on his feet. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a very excellent striker, but it's like there's so many question marks on the Anvar side. Like his style, I mean, he's a very wild style. He kind of likes to force the brawl out on his opponents, and he's just able to just outgrit them, out tough them, and just break them. But there's a lot of question marks when it comes to Anvar's cardio. We're not really sure how he will look in the later rounds. That could play a big deal here, but at the same time, Eric Silva, I mean, he's not really known to be a cardio machine either. We haven't seen his cardio tested likewise. But I think it's another binary fight like the last one to break down. Eric Silva, if he wants to win, my opinion, he should go for takedown. Try to get that single leg, try to get on top of Anvar, expose the grappling holes if he has any. I know Anvar said that he grew up wrestling, and I mean, it's not fighting the best comp, but I mean, he seems to have a decent sprawl at least in some of his fights. I mean, it's hard to really gauge how good his takedown defense is. So it's kind of, I guess you could say, it's kind of a guessing game with this fight. And like in Eric Silva, I don't know if he has the wrestling chops to get Anvar down. At the same time, Eric Silva, I said he keeps his hands down. So, I don't know if that's the best striking style to have against Anvar. You don't really want to be fighting him with your hands down, exposed for the counter. Anvar does pack a lot of heat. And Eric Silva better be fucking careful if he decides to brawl with him on the feet. But when you go to the odds, we'll check them out. Eric Silva comes in as the favorite. We got minus 135 for Eric the King Silva. Anvar coming in at plus 115. I mean, I personally would have lined probably Anvar. I would have flipped the odds and had Anvar probably minus 135, Eric plus 115. But I mean, I get it. Eric, there's more tape on him. there's a clear path to victory with the grappling, I guess you would say so. But there's a lot of question marks on this fight. Anyone that tells you they have a confident opinion in it is just guessing because we don't really know how good Anvar's takedown defense is. I mean, he is training out of Sanford MMA, or I guess you call it Killcliff FC now. But yeah, I mean, if he can stuff the takedowns, he probably will knock out Eric Silva because I think Eric Silva's hands down style leaves him to get caught, which makes it curious. I want to see what Bet Online comes out with the KO prop for Anvar. I'm curious to see what that is. I'm probably gonna play that and then probably bet Eric Silva by submission too if it's a nice number. If we can get some juicy numbers on both those props, maybe play it both ways. Because I do think if Eric Silva wins, it's probably a submission, and then if Anvar wins, it's probably a knockout. See if when Lovato comes out with them too, maybe look to parlay the fight doesn't go to decision in that fight. Probably be a good spot too, but I bet it's gonna be chalky. But yeah, I'm gonna, for the sake of a prediction, gonna go Anvar by KO in the first round. And so that brings us to the next fight. Honestly, I don't know why these two fights aren't switched with this one because I don't know why this is the co-main event, but it is Contender Series, so I get it. We got Jamal Pogues versus Paulo Natto Jr. All right, this is a very weird fight to cap because we'll start with Paulo. So Paulo hasn't fought. Oh no, he has fought recently, but he took, as you can see in like 2017, took a 4-year layoff. And in this fight in 2017 is actually at welterweight, 170 pounds, and this fight's at heavyweight. So he kind of pulled a Jake Collier, I guess you could say. He from 2017 to 2021, he took I guess he wanted to do a kickboxing career, and he decided it's not for him, I guess, and he got kind of fat. Took a couple regional fights at heavyweight. I can't find the tape on any of these. Tape Index only has the most recent fight on Tape Index is from 2017 against Robinson Silveria. So I mean, it's kind of hard to know what to expect here from Paulo Natto Jr. But I will say he's probably going to come out here and try to brawl it out. From the tape I have seen, likes to strike on the feet, kind of throw in wild combinations. So maybe look to get the KO in the first round, catch Pogues. That's probably the path to victory here for Renato, but there's a lot of question marks on here. Never a good sign when he used to fight at 170 pounds and now he's ballooned up to fucking heavyweight. Lay off the churros, man. Come on now. But we'll look at his opponent, Jamal Pogues. I mean, 8-3, fighting at a Syndicate MMA. I mean, he's got a good gym, trains with a bunch of good training partners over there. But at the same time, nearly coming off, what is this, 2020? Yeah, nearly a 2-year layoff. So it's like, I know he's young though. What is he? 26. So, he's off from 24 to 26. So I would hope he's making some improvements. Because right now he should be entering his prime. Oh, also, I'll check the age on Renato. I forgot how old he is. He's probably an older dude. 28? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so both dudes are fairly young, I guess, for the heavyweight division. So we'll go back to, my bad, Jamal Pogues. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, in my opinion, how this fight's going to go down. You got Jamal Pogues. He's definitely a wrestler first. I mean, his striking has come a long ways. It's not the most elite level striking, but he is making progress. It has gotten a lot better. But yeah, the path to victory here for Pogues is pretty fucking clear. Take this dude down, and you can maybe take him down at will. It's hard for me to say what Renato's takedown defense is going to look like, but I mean, at heavyweight, most of these dudes don't really have elite level takedown defense. And I mean, looking at the build of Renato, he kind of ballooned up. I don't expect him to be fucking scrambling 24/7, getting up every single time he gets taken down. But yeah, I mean, that's the smart game plan for Pogues is going to be push up Renato against the cage, look to dig his underhooks, and get the takedown. But we'll look at his last loss, Alex Pelosi. I mean, Alex Pelosi is a solid grappler, I would say. Pogues kind of got dominated that whole fight by a better grappler, but I mean, you can't hate on that. And then you see this fight against Marcus Burgago. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. That was on the Contender Series in 2019. He did win that 30-27 decision. It was a good win. He just didn't get signed that night, I guess. But so yeah, solid win there for Pogues. He showed that he could go 3 rounds at a grappling pace. He does a good job of once he gets his opponents taken down, he'll get in the half guard, then he'll kind of just pound them out from there. I also noticed though in his fights, he does a good job of listening to his coaches, so that's always nice to see. Smart fighter, I would hope so. But yeah, 2 year long layoff. I mean, you would think he's making improvements, and then with the clear path to victory, it's hard not to pick Pogues here, just because there's so much more tape out there, and he has like a very systematic game to him. We know what he's gonna do, and he's shown that he can go 3 rounds at a wrestling pace. And we'll go with probably decision here. We'll go Pogues by 30-27 decision, and then we'll pull up the odds here. I believe Pogues is minus 288. Yeah, minus 288 Pogues, plus 248 Renato Jr. I mean, it's heavyweight MMA, low level heavyweights. I feel like we learned that the hard way, not to trust chalk low level heavyweights. Fucking Dontel Mays, and then last week Zach Paulo. Yeah, so I mean, pick your poison here. I mean, I do think Pogues gets it done, but just tread with caution because it is low level heavyweights. But Pogues, yeah, 100% has a clear path to victory here. And if he wrestles, I believe he'll make it look really fucking easy. I'll take Jamal Pogues by decision. And then we got the main event. Everybody's fucking here for the main event, I guess. Zachary Borrego versus Bo Nickel. What do you want me to fucking tell you? Everyone and their mom is gonna be on Bo Nickel. We got the former national champion at Penn State. Fucking could be if this dude develops, he could be a really fucking good fighter in the striking. If he can develop the striking and mix in his wrestling background, I believe he could be a very elite level middleweight in the UFC. But I mean, there's only so much you can take away from it, I guess, because Bo Nickel, he's very young in his MMA career. And I mean, I think he has all the potentials to be really good. I mean, it's hard for me to really say that when his only fight is 33 fucking seconds. But that 33 seconds, he looked fucking amazing. Bo Nickel, John Nolan, the opponent, he was like 35 or 36 years old, making his pro debut as well. So it was pretty obvious they were giving him a setup fight, but he knocked that dude out. That had really fast hands there. That combination was brutal. But yeah, the UFC was fucking quick to sign him. I don't think they want to risk Bellator or like PFL picking this guy up. So they're setting him up here with Zachary Borrego. I know some of us are very familiar with Zachary Borrego because he defeated the keeper of the plains and William Vanderveer. That dude's fucking like, what is he, like 6'5", 83-inch reach or something with this Vanderveer dude? Yeah, fucking wild. Borrego's fought an interesting character of opponents, like the Tommy Burden fight. Tommy Burden, that dude, Michael Blackson's long lost brother. Yeah, that dude's fucking hands were fucking massive. That was a woolly mammoth of a dude. But yeah, Zach Borrego last win against Tommy Burden kind of just beat on him for 3 rounds. It was nice to see Borrego go 3 rounds, push a solid pace, But I mean, it's pretty easy to push or to look good cardio wise when you have someone that's not really putting up any resistance. But yeah, I mean, I guess Borrego, striker first, likes to switch stances a lot. He'll switch from that southpaw, throw that body kick. But he is an orthodox fighter, likes to throw that 1-2. He's got a decent jab. I mean, Borrego's not the worst prospect in the world, but I mean, like, it's pretty obvious who the fucking UFC wants to win here. Borrego at 26. I mean, he's a decent striker against low-level dudes still, but obviously Bo Nickel has all the fucking upside here. And you look at the odds, and that reflects that. Minus 2,500 Bo Nickel. I mean, at that point, it's not even fucking playable. But hell, it'd be a good fight to watch, unless y'all want to throw them in your parlays to make an extra $2 or $3. Yeah. Maybe if I'm having a good night, I'll throw like $50 on like Zach Borrego. Fuck it, just pure degeneracy right there. But imagine the scenes though if fucking Zach Borrego beats Bo Nickel though. That would be fucking hilarious. But yeah, so when it comes to this card for a betting perspective, it's a little bit tricky in my opinion. I mean, a couple props I touched on that I'm gonna look to snipe if I can get a good number on it. Chirez by KO. It's gonna probably be a big juicy plus number. Maybe Carpenter by submission as well. And for Wolchek versus Lovato, probably we can get plus money on Wolchek by decision. Be a good bet. And yeah, I think I don't know if I said it, but Onvar by KO. Curious to see what that number comes out with. Might look to bet that, and then Eric Silva by submission too. And when it comes to Pogues, Renato, any props I would like? Maybe Pogues by decision, I guess. But it's kind of hard to cap that fight. We have no idea what Renato's gonna look like. And Borrego Nickel, I mean, maybe fight doesn't go to decision. You can parlay that. But even then, that's probably going to be chalk too. Someone's probably going to die in that fight, and it's probably going to be Borrego. But yeah, if I'm looking to parlay maybe some money lines, I guess we could go Wolchek. Not a lot of confidence there, but we can maybe go Wolchek post parlay. Something along the lines of that. I think that would pay probably about plus money. And when it comes to straight bets, I might straight bet Onvar. I'm not sure about that. That's a very risky fight. I might just try to see what the under 2.5 is. Maybe look to get that as a straight bet. And outside of that, yeah, I'm not gonna go too heavy on this card. It is a very tricky card to cap. But sometimes the cards that look the worst are the most profitable. So I guess we will have to see. And that's it, everybody. I hope we can all make some money this Tuesday. Let's fucking go. Peace out.